I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid.
Hello and welcome to Toke and A Talk. You are here with myself, Mandee Elam of Sea Goddess Healing Arts, the beautiful Kendra Hammell, and our incredible guest tonight, Rachel Ahava. Kendra, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mandee. Thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Happy it's Tuesday. Happy I get to Toke and Talk with some of my sisters. Really excited to hear about Rachel's journey a little bit with Mama Cannabis and all the good things.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to also hear Rachel share her adventures with this plant and the ups and the downs and the good and the bad and the way that it has helped her on her journey and, it's making her feel good. So it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got into it really late. I was 35 years old before I had my first toke. And I never touched anything as a kid. I mean, I never even smoked a cigarette. I was the good kid. And I don't know, something just happened when I was in my 30s, and it was I just sort of had a feeling that this was something that I needed in my life. I had two small kids at the time, so I was under a lot of stress in my day-to-day. And I was just, I'm all about truth. And I know that when you see something that like the government or whatever is going really hard against, that maybe, just maybe, it might actually work. Mm-hmm. So I sought out I didn't even have any friends. I didn't know that smoked. So I didn't even know where to get it from. And then a friend of mine had a connection. And so anyway, the first time I got high. Mm-hmm. It was, that was the first time I came home, I guess I can say. It was they always say, you'll never have another first time. And mine was so earth shattering because it was as soon as it came over me and I came into this new vibration, mm-hmm. I literally turned to my friend and I was like, I have been lied to my entire life. I knew there was absolutely nothing wrong with how I was feeling in this state. I knew it was amazing. It was through my journey with it, then as an adult, when you can kind of take it more seriously rather than it just being more of a party thing, like when you're a kid or whatever, for social reasons, I was exploring consciousness with it and able to kind of hover above whatever issues were going on that day. It has this strange ability to just make you really objective on whatever's going on and kind of chill you out. Whereas if I would have got worked up about something in the past, there was a lot of stress that day, it would allow me to just kind of chill. So, but in the beginning, I really just kind of smoked on weekends, quietly in my bed. And like I said, I had two small kids at the time. So it was oh, this is taboo. But yet I knew it was helping me so much. Any anxiety I had at that point it just took the edge off of everything. And I'm extremely grateful that I found this plant, but man, it's definitely been a journey. Especially as a mom, because people judge you. The other moms are smoking wine, drinking their wine every day, and I'm secretly smoking my weed at night. And
you might be smoking it. Who knows?
But it wasn't until I made other mom friends that also smoke that then you start to realize that we're not, it's not as taboo as we think it is. There's a lot of moms that are mm-hmm. having that toke at night after they put the kids to bed. Okay. And yeah, so that became me from 35 on, and like I said, I honestly don't really know where I'd be without it, because it brought me to a state where I was better able to just handle whatever stressors I had going on. And and then I ended up getting my medical card then, And once I was able to go to this dispensaries and actually play around with different strains, and because obviously, like, when you're trying to get it on the DL, you'll take whatever you can get, like whatever strain is available. And when you actually have the choice and you can experiment with how different things make you feel, then you realize, like this whole idea of like stoner couch lock, it doesn't have to be that way. You just find the right strain if you want to go do something, or if you want to like chill and relax, or for pain relief, use a different kind of strain. And it's all about that trial and error, which with this crazy prohibition that I'm still amazed still exists in this country, we're denying people the ability to find the best bud for them, and I mean, it's a plant. First of all, at the end of the day, it's a plant.
Right.
It's a plant, and it's a healing plant, just like I always say, people don't think twice when you have like some herbal tea. Well, right. It's just another herb, and the effects of this herb down in the way I need, like some tea. Yeah, bless you, girl.
The ancestors would say that's the truth. Because when sees when it's true, according to like German superstitions or something.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So then, like I said, I mean, I was just kind of like the hanging out in my bedroom at night mom, and I never had taken it out of the house ever. And again, I was this good girl my whole life, never had been in any trouble. But there was one time, you hear crazy stories, but I was literally like that crazy story. Like, I've never taken weed out of the house ever. This was several years ago. And went to a concert.
So many people, I just wanted to pause for 1 sec. Like, so many people join you in that. And it's like your dirty little secret at night in bed. And it took me years to come out of my cannabis closet. And you were 35, I was 25. And it's like this long little secret dance. And like, that's a big part of what's inspired Toke and A Talk, because I can't turn my back on Mary Jane anymore and everything she's done for me and how she helped me to heal and see things from a different light. I love that you brought that up. Like, there's probably just a lot of other listeners out there, and we just like want you to know, like, you're not alone.
Yeah. I mean, I it's been 10 years now to age myself. It's a 10-year beautiful journey with this plant. But yeah, but it's had its low side, because like I said, I went one time.
Yeah, story time. What happened when
I went to a concert, and we were driving home, and we didn't even get pulled over or anything. Like, we were driving completely fine because we were completely sober. We hadn't smoked weed before like this trip back from the concert, but we had smoked in the car on the DL hours prior before the concert. So we were coming home, pull off the highway, and next thing you know, we're in a DUI checkpoint. Now, I don't even drink, so I'm not thinking anything of it. And then they had smelled it from earlier. And what transpired was one of the most traumatizing experiences of my entire life. You would have thought we murdered somebody. There were 6 police that surrounded the car, screaming at us. It was horrific. And when you think about, this is a plant. This is a plant that has, that like I take as a medicine, but it's also enjoyable, just like people enjoy a cup of coffee or enjoy a cup of tea. There's nothing wrong with saying I also enjoy it, But it was, I mean, it turned into, a situation that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And, fortunately, like, the legal stuff is all taken care of now, but like, it's an experience that, I mean,
tell us a little bit more about that
when I pass cop cars. What's that?
Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the details of like what you went through for them smelling weed in your car?
Yeah, so like, it was like 6 cops that surrounded the car. They're screaming at us. Like, the one cop had his flashlights. He's like, "Where's the weed? Where's the weed? Give it to us now!" And then my one friend who was in the front seat, she kind of opened her door, and they like opened the door and like pulled her out of the car. It was crazy. As she was going through her bag, and she had a glass bowl in there, and I like, and then and my boyfriend at the time was driving the car completely sober. And, you know, of course, as the driver, you know, it's a no, I don't know what they call it. Like in Pennsylvania, which where I was living at the time, if you are, if it's in your system at all, it's an automatic DUI.
Right.
And they haven't really even changed this now that medical cannabis is legal in the state. So people who are medical patients are still like at risk of getting DUIs if you get the wrong cop that pulls you over. And so
yeah, someone recently got arrested who was America. One of you was telling me, or was it one of you, or maybe Urs or someone, that in Pennsylvania there was someone who's a medical marijuana patient.
Oh yeah.
They were.
Yeah, just got arrested for having a bowl on them because it wasn't in the proper way you're supposed to have your, you know, I mean, come on, when you use your medicine, there's going to be minutes that it's like out and stuff. I mean, these stupid rules just drives me crazy because you're missing the point, you know, like
unless you have a Tesla
without worrying about being arrested, you know.
Yeah, unless you have a Tesla, I want to see the guy or girl that's that talented that can drive a car and light a bowl. I mean, I just don't see how that's possible unless you have a Tesla. I don't know. Show me.
You know, yeah, the whole experience. Well, yeah, I mean, I had a half a joint on me, which was literally all that was even smoked in that car before that concert was a half a joint between 3 people, you know? So it's like, if that's my crime, you know, that's my big crime, you know, I'm admitting to it now. You know, it's just the punishment did not fit the crime. What my boyfriend at the time went through, you know, was just the money and the house arrest, and I mean, and you name it for this whole thing, because the state, you're automatic if there's anything in your system. So, you know, yes, we had smoked earlier in the day, so it was going to be in a system. But what people don't know is if you were in the exact same situation as us and you smoked 2 weeks ago and it's still in your system, it's an automatic DUI. You can't even fight it in the courts. Like we found a lawyer and everything, and they're literally like, well, it's automatic. You're automatically guilty. So we had a dilemma though when he, like, after they pulled him out of the car and stuff, they wanted him to, you know, submit to a blood test or whatever. And then they were threatening to take his license. All these, like you lose your license if you don't submit to the test, but if you submit to the test, then like it's just a lot of like contradictions. But ultimately, we knew he was gonna, you know, there was nothing that we could do. Neither of us drank. And so I figured the only way we could prove that the only thing in his, because I'm thinking someday weed is going to be legal. And if they come back and they look at his blood test and see that the only thing in his system was that there was some THC in his system, that there was not a drop of alcohol, you know, that maybe someday when the laws catch up with all this, you know, we could go back and like, you know, get that wiped from his record. But it was a terrifying night, terrifying. And he had to spend several hours in a jail cell. I had to go pick him up and stuff. And he's an incredible person. And he's a lover of plant medicine. I mean, like I like not just cannabis, but you know, things like kratom and stuff. Like I mean, these plants are here to heal us. And so he's someone that likes to kind of like, you know, like how we do with like the strains or whatever, but he would get real creative with it. And it just opened my world up to how these things that come from the ground, these plants from the ground, can like absolutely like transform our life. So it broke my heart that someone who honors the plant medicine so much had to like go down like he did something like wrong, and he didn't. He was just driving us home from a concert completely sober. And me as a mom who had like, you know, I've been a good girl my whole life, you know, I got a possession charge on that half joint that was in my bag, you know. And
didn't they bring you to like At like a gym or something too.
Oh, it was crazy. It was set up.
If you want to share that part, you don't have to. But I remember telling a bit about this. I'm like, this part is wild.
This was like Podunk, Pennsylvania. Podunk, Pennsylvania, where this checkpoint was, right? And this is like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was right by an elementary school. So once they nailed you, then you get processed in the elementary school. So you go in, and all the wives of the cops and everything were there in the lobby, like serving hot dogs and everything. This was like an event they planned for, this big DUI checkpoint. You went into the gymnasium, then they had it set up in like stations, like to process you in different ways. I mean, it was the craziest thing. But you know, I'm someone that's always looking for signs and synchronicities, and Fox was his name. He was on the other side of the auditorium with cuffs on him. It was so sad. But there was like because it was in a gymnasium, there was numbers that were like posted on the wall, you know, for whatever game they play in the gym, and numerology and things like that. I love all that. And like the number 37 was right above him. And like, that was like, at the time, that was like my number. That was my house number at the time. And like, I saw it everywhere. And like, when I saw him under that, I was like, okay, like this is part of my journey, or part of our journey to go through this, you know, to get in trouble over a plant. And, you know, and since I discovered it late in life and realized that I was lied to my whole life, you know, bought into the propaganda of, I mean, when I was young, I didn't even know that marijuana was even a plant. I mean, it could have been like a powder you snort for all I knew. I just knew that, like, you know, you're conditioned in school to think that like this is horrible and it's going to kill you.
Right.
Oh, you're muted, Mandee.
Thank you. I was like, yeah, we're Jersey girls. Like, we've been through this, and like, we were programmed through the DARE program, which has its pluses and its minuses. And I think there's a decent model under there that could be improved upon. I'm not going to totally diss it or anything, but I will say I came out of that thinking, I've said this before, that marijuana and weed was far worse than heroin, and that it was like the worst of all the drugs. And like, when I switched when I was 25, because I was on muscle relaxers and painkillers and steroids 24/7, and I didn't like the way it was making my body feel, and it wasn't helping me heal from my injuries or my fibromyalgia, and I was getting worse, and there was so much happening. And my brothers encouraged me to stop smoking or stop taking all those pills for like a month and try to smoke weed and see what happens. And I thought, I was like, oh my God, I'm like doing the worst drug in the world, but maybe it'll help me feel better. And then same thing as you, Rach, I was like, I've been fucking lied to. Like, what is this? This is not what I was thinking at all. Like, oh my God. And I had smoked a tiny bit in high school, but like not really enough to get high or like have an awakening like you did or anything like that. Just like a tiny bit. I flirted with it, and then it fell away from like until I was like 25. And it's only helped me get better, faster, stronger. I feel younger in like every way. And it helps you to tune into all of your senses and your body, and it serves you in lots of different ways. And I like that you really brought up earlier the aspect of how it can help you become more mindful and not care as much about the little things that are going on, and stop yourself from like hyper focusing on something when you're like, it's just not going to do any good for anybody. And like, let me focus on this. And you specialize often in manifesting. So like, that's a really cool thing that this energy and this medicine revealed for you.
Well, and also creativity. Like it just has a, you know, I mean, I was always a naturally creative person, and but it had a way of opening up another layer of creativity that I never tapped into. You know, I mean, it just kind of, I always say like, it's just kind of like if it's like a little fuzzy dialing in to source someday, it's like you smoke a little bit and it's like, whew, it clears all the fog and you can dial right in, you know, and not everyone needs it. I mean, a lot of people, there are people in the spiritual community, especially, they'll be like, I don't need it, but have their opinions about it.
Or judge it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a tool like anything else, you know. And sometimes we need a little help clearing the fog, you know. But some, you know, some people absolutely like if they don't want to feel a certain way, like it can do whatever it's meant to do for that person. And if it's not right for you, then it's not right for you. But so many people judge it without even having any idea of what even like being high feels like, you know, and being high in a conscious way where you can, you consciously smoke this plant and meditate on it, or go into like a creative mode and draw, paint, whatever, or get lost in some music. It's amazing how you experience music when you smoke weed. It's like it comes alive in a way that it just doesn't when you're sober. And so, I mean, like, should we all be high 24/7? I mean, I don't know, but like there are times where it's nice to be in that place, and there's nothing wrong with being in that place. And as long as you're responsible, I mean, like, but it's different than alcohol. Alcohol opens people up in a different way. Like the high from weed is a much more conscious kind of place. I mean, like the thing I always say that's crazy is like, no one's going to smoke a bowl and go out and be like aggressive or what, like you have it allows people to calm down and have next level conversations, and I mean, how many people say like if the world would all smoke weed together, we'd have world peace, and it really is true, because it's like the problems that seem so overwhelming, it's like a perspective comes from this beautiful plant that
it really does. And like you said, it's going to do what it needs to do for each person. And it's kind of more accepted for it to be medicinal for physical things and for physical ailments or cancer or stuff like that. It's less acceptable for it to be used as like something to heal mental health. Like instead of anxiety medicine, let's try some weed. Or, we had Serena on last week and we were talking about how stoners run the world secretly, or so many people do, because it helps me just, not give a fuck about all the bullshit and then hyper focus on the things I really want to, and like dive in with it and get deeper. And like, it helps me. I'm like very high functioning, like ADD, and it helps me to ground in and focus on like one task at a time. And it helped me to do all that potent shadow work and like becoming more mindful and like helping myself to just tune into my own thoughts and things. And it can be used as a medicine, not only for your body, but for your mind and for your soul. And as Rachel said, as a creative outlet to inspire you.
Yeah. And if you got to get shit done during the day, sativa, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's I'm very grateful that I discovered this plant. I mean, depression and anxiety is in my family, and it's something I've dealt with my whole life. And I honestly, I'm so grateful that I discovered this at the time I did, because it helped me cope with all kinds of, big life changes and whatnot, and really helped open me up spiritually, and in a way that, sometimes you do get hyper focused and looping in negative thoughts, it's hard to do sometimes. And so it does have an amazing ability to unwind those loops and help you get above it all, and bring you back. That's the whole thing.
Higher perspective. Higher feeling.
I mean, it's so funny because I think about years ago, could have been just something that happened during the day that just like kind of put me in a down place, and maybe I would have ruminated on that for days. Now it's like, oh, feeling a little down. All right, let me smoke a bowl and I'll be right back to myself in a few minutes. So, it's nice to have that go-to that you need when you just kind of, feel like, you're slipping down the dumps a little bit, a little bring that pep in your step.
And it's not escapism. It's like a lot of people are like, oh, you're going to get stoned and forget about it. What happens is in order for us to heal from our traumas or dramas, the things that are giving us an electric charge, we need to disconnect from that a little bit. So what it does is it helps you take a few breaths, disconnect from, whoever cut you off in traffic or fucked up your coffee in the morning, or your boss who's a dick, or whatever it is that's, got you upset at this time, or, something somebody did. And it helps you come back into your own biomagnetic field, into your own energy center, and then take a breath and take a look at what's happening, and literally look in from a higher perspective and say, okay, is this worth my time and energy? Is this worth me being this upset about this? Is this worth, should I get inspired? Like, wow, this is incredible. And like Rachel was saying, I've got these juices going and I want to capitalize on it. And this, feels better for me. So I feel it gives you such an opportunity to become so much more aware of so many things. And it's just incredibly potent in all kinds of fields and strengthens every sense.
As a parent, and how you feel about this, Ken, it's like I can be more present with my kids.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, yeah, I mean, my kids, see, that's the other thing I was going to say. Like, I have teenage kids, and I educated them when they were young about the, just basically, I didn't want them to be lied to, because I knew they were hearing things like at school, at DARE or whatever. And I didn't want them to come home and think that I was doing anything wrong. So I educated them about how cannabis was demonized and for some nefarious purposes, and they can see that mom's a lot chiller, when she's able to use her medicine. And they've never had an issue or a stigma about it, because it was normal to them, and yeah.
It's like, it's so okay for people to have a crack of beer when you get home from work.
Well, that's exactly it. So it's like you're fighting against so much old conditioning, and but I mean, I'm encouraged, because even seeing like my own parents who who are very substance free, their at least acceptance and understanding and seeing for themselves how it's helped me, has definitely come a long way, but you're always fighting old mindset that maybe says that, taking all these pills that my doctor prescribed is the way to go, because, I'm still scared of this, devil's lettuce over here, and there still is a lot of that. It's a generational thing that, we'll break down as people realize that this is a healing plant that has been demonized needlessly. And as we take back our power and legalization sweeps the land, I love seeing the creativity, with making the edibles and the things that people do with it, and I can't wait until we're in a place where we can all grow it in our yards and create with it, with all
maybe let it literally grow like a weed, as easy as it wants to grow throughout the whole country.
Yeah. I mean, imagine just medicine being everywhere, and and it's like anything else. Like, yes, it produces an effect, but so does Benadryl, or any, so you learn what the effect is, and so does
sugar, so does eating fruit, so does drinking celery. I get more high on drinking my celery juice first thing in the morning than weed. It clears out my brains.
Yeah, I mean, you just be responsible, if you have a big presentation to do at work, I don't know, you may or may not want to smoke beforehand, but the point is, it should be everyone's choice, because it's a plant, and it affects us in whatever way is best for us. And if you don't want to use it, then don't use it. But but if you haven't tried it because you believe these old stigmas about it, then find some really cool friends that are already familiar with it, and have a good girls' night or something, because
Toke and A Talk.
Toke and A Talk, because there is a social aspect to it that's fun. It's like when us girls get together and we toke and talk, the level of conversations when kind of the filters are are gone, you know, and you're kind of in that, like, it allows you to kind of contemplate higher thoughts and yeah, it's like I don't know, there's like a next level place, like when two or more are gathered and we're passing a bowl.
There's something to that. Pass the peace pipe. I agree. I think it brings peace to every cell within our bodies, and then that's able to be transmuted and projected out. And like the more we invite that in, like why wouldn't we want to? And it's so incredibly resourceful and sustainable, and there's so many other things you can do with the plant to not only even heal yourself, but to heal this entire planet and to honor it for what its like magical little duty on this world is, and to stop outlawing it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
We're getting close though. It's been nice living under legal weed now here in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's a whole nother story for you, Ken. And but yeah, I mean, to go, you know, I guess we were all there hiding under our covers. But so yeah, it's like I'm kind of getting used to it now, like just walk into a dispensary when I want, like, you know, and I forget that like sometimes that the rest of the world isn't there, which does make it weird then when you're faced with situations where, you know, you're visiting a state where it's not legal, or, you know, like I don't know.
There are smokers everywhere though.
It's
Smokers
true.
and talkers and takers and, you know, ingesters. Like there's community everywhere you go. And yeah, it was a weird thing for me. I like lived out in Colorado when it became legal. Lived in New York when it was like decriminalized. Then I lived out in like Colorado as it became legal. I could leave my job as a social worker and call about what I want and like pick it up through a drive-through on my way home. It was like incredible. And like there was nothing wrong with that. And I saw a huge difference in my clients. I had a really big caseload at the time. And when we became legal and like all of my dudes could go get some greens, oh my gosh, it was so much easier to do my job and help them to achieve their goals and get things done, because it helped take the edge off and there was less stigma. And then I moved back here to Jersey and it was illegal again. And I was like, and I was in Vermont, and Vermont's like Vermont. And it's like, still, they don't even have recreational dispensaries there yet. And I thought they'd be like leading the charge on the East Coast with it. But, you know, it is what it is. And the thing with Colorado, you know, they kind of did it right. And in some senses, I guess a lot of banks won't even fund it. So there's a lot of cash that has to like happen and all these vaults, which is like dangerous and not cool too. But they put a lot of the money into the roads, the infrastructure and different things. And like, it's making a huge difference. And there was a big boom out there. So it's like, it's good for economies and stuff. And it's just, I think that's the best way to help America get back to what it wants to.
Right. Yeah.
And the world. I love, you know, for everyone and everything, all of us, find the balance again.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. It's super important. I just want to bring something up quick that I just thought of for New Jersey. So there's a college in New Jersey called Stockton College, which is right, there's a campus right in Atlantic City where you guys are, and then there's one in Galloway. But I just saw that they're doing, on the 17th of this month, they're actually doing like a job fair because it's getting ready to, you know, to really go legal. There's going to be a lot of resources there for people who want to get into the industry and work in cannabis. And there's going to be some really awesome speakers there, and also some local dispensaries, and just a bunch of, I think, a wealth of knowledge. I'm wishing that I was up there for that week so that I could have attended it. I believe it's a free event. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because I think that that's something that maybe viewers in New Jersey, if you're curious, would be to go to a college setting, which I love it because it's like,
so cool.
You talk about breaking the stigma. I mean, you have this Stockton College offering courses on it, and like people are really starting to understand that this plant is a medicine. I love that it's an aptogen, that no matter how I ingest it, whether I smoke it or I drink it, I put oil on my tongue, I, you know, make a cookie, whatever I want to do. But that medicine is going to go in my body, and it just knows exactly where it needs to go. And that the side effects are either sleep, it makes me sleepy, it makes me hungry, or it makes me laugh. And like, I'm really good with those 3 side effects. They are so much better than what's on my other medications.
What?
So
You don't want chronic diarrhea anymore?
I don't. I'm tired of the chronic diarrhea. I'm tired of the headache.
Muscle spasms.
You know,
You might drop dead, but you'll come
yeah,
back
and
in 5 minutes.
I do love what it does for nausea. I mean, instantly, I believe that I've never not smoked it and not had immediate relief for anything digestive or headache. So I think that right there, you see people popping antacids, doing whatever they do to try to get their bellies to calm down or whatever, when you just want to like be like, just take a puff of a bowl or take a hit of a joint, and your stomach is going to feel better instantly. Like, so it's just things like that I'm very like passionate about, because it's bizarre to me that we're using all these other things when we have a plant that will literally take care of it, So
Yeah, and that's like, you can make, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And like, anybody in the entire world, like, once they figure out something that helps them find peace and relief and not suffer anymore, we want to share that. We want to be like, yo, I know that if you just like take this hit, it'll take that edge off. It'll make you feel better. Like, I know it's scary or weird, but like, it works for me. It might work for you. And that's the thing. All we can do is just tell and share our story and lead by example, and hope that maybe this will empower someone who's listening and maybe curious about it to try it, or to give themselves the freedom to say, you know what, I'm not alone and it's okay. And like, whatever my dance is with Mary Jane right now, like, I honor it. And like you were saying, Kendra, it can come in all different kinds of forms and ways and frequencies.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to smoke it. I mean, you could rub it into your skin and have like immediate relief for like anything, back pain or, knee pain, any of that. I mean, I use it. I make oil, oils to rub into my skin, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a great thing to get that relief, and it's natural. And I just know that, like, for me, when I started using medical cannabis, that my whole life kind of got very organic and authentic, like my entire life, my eating habits, just the way I did things. I just realized that, like, that plant really, it grounded me, and it brought me back to earth, and it brought me back to just wanting natural. It just wanted me to go back to natural. And I love that about the plant. I love it about cannabis, is that it really is like Mother Earth to me. Like, she is everything, and I don't, especially now that I'm in a state that doesn't recognize it as medicine. I haven't had it, and I have been using other types of plants that are legal here. So it's eye-opening. I miss it. I have been having a struggle. You guys know it. I've been struggling, and I've been put on some more medications now to kind of help with symptoms of all my ailments, and I'm dealing with it. But at the end of the day, I'm still using CBD, CBG, whatever, Delta 8, whatever these things are. I'm trying all these things out, but I just know that the cannabis as a whole was working for me. Doctors have my blood work. There's, I could be in a textbook on how it was improving everything in my life. And that's the struggle. The struggle is real for me right now, because it works. It worked for me. I believe it would work for everybody. And I think that it because it's an aptogen, it knows what to do. Like, and you shouldn't be afraid of it. It won't make you wrap your car around a pole. It's not going to make you take your clothes off. It's just not what that plant does. So yeah, I love it. And I will fight forever to make it legal to grow in our backyard, so that we can have our medicine and do what we want with it, because it's safe. And I don't know. I love it.
Cheers to that. You're here. Toke to that. Oh, this has been so wonderful.
Yeah.
Ken, is there anything else on your heart or mind you wanted to jam about tonight?
Yeah, totally. Ready?
Yeah.
So I got something in the mail today from the Sea Goddess website. So I thought I'd open it up for y'all real quick.
Fun. If you haven't been to our
SeaGoddessHealingArts.com.
Yes.
And
I'm so excited right now.
so I'm so excited right now because this is a Rachel design. Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, this t-shirt, the way like the cut of it is awesome. Probably should just try it on, but it just says it's a F blanking plant and it's the pot leaf on it. So this can be this can be purchased on the website through Sea Goddess Healing Arts and Higher Self Healing.
Yeah.
But this is truly my motto. It's a effing plant, like period. And I don't understand why we can't grow it and why some states don't let us use it as medicine. So if anybody wants to support the movement and support the goddesses, you can check this out and purchase one for yourself, your loved ones. Christmas is coming, your children, whoever. But it's an effing plant where...
Oh, man. It's so cool. I'm so glad you did that and revealed that, Kendra. That is magic. And like Kendra said, SeaGoddessHealingArts.com. We have a beautiful merch shop that Rachel designed. And Rachel designed that t-shirt. And there's a lot of other things. What other kind of goodies are in there?
Oh, everything. Now that particular shirt, when you go on the Sea Goddess website, you can scroll on down on the homepage so you get to Kendra's banner, which is Higher Self Healing, and click on that. Or you can go under the shop Healing Artists. And in her shop, that's where you'll find that plant, as well as, wait, Kendra. Oh, yes. Kendra, you gotta tell them the phrase that's on the other shirt that you offer on your page.
So I believe there's another one, and that one's the Live Life Lit.
Live Life Lit, and it's got it features the Absecon Lighthouse on that.
Yes, that one has the Absecon Lighthouse. Yeah, and
we're not necessarily saying they're sponsoring anything, but that is our beacon, Absecon Lighthouse here in Atlantic City.
Where we live. We live right next to it.
Yes, we live right next to it, and so our motto is Live Life Lit.
Live Life Lit.
Yep, we just wanted to feature our favorite lighthouse.
Yes.
Here in the city.
Yeah, but this shirt really it's cut so good. It's not like a dude shirt like that. It's like all like, and that's fine. I like dude t-shirts too, but this is really like, I love the neck on it. It feels really soft. Like it's kind of like the Sea Goddess sweatshirts are so soft.
I was gonna say, I'm wearing one of those.
I live in that thing. I live in it. So, but I just love this, and I think that I love like the bright colors, and it's
it's great. It's so fun to see it in person. Like Kendra will message me these like amazing, like just fun little phrases for shirts, and like you have like the best sense of humor, Ken, and like and this was like the perfect shirt to kind of launch with. It's an effing plant, people.
It is. It's comical. Like at this point, it's just a joke. But all I know is that we're up against this stigma. Like you said, these old ideas, and this show hopefully will just be able to keep getting more real about it, and how it's just, like I think about your experience with your friends and being put into a holding cell in a gym with hot dogs. I don't know what that was, but like there's literally people in jail for like 20 years because they had like an ounce of weed on them. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Every time I see a cop car, I have this PTSD thing that happens, you know? Right. And so, you know, like the people whose lives have been ruined because of the stigma around this plant, like, I mean, what I went through was like nothing, you know?
Right. And so even people that are like, oh, it makes me paranoid. It's like, no, it doesn't make you paranoid. You thinking that you're going to get arrested is what's making you paranoid. This plant doesn't make you paranoid. Like, maybe there are some that get that effect. I wouldn't doubt it. But at the end of the day, like, that's why I was paranoid when I was using it before it was legal, because I was just so scared, you know, that someone was going to smell it and lock me up or take my car or whatever they were going to do. And that's, you know, it's just so wonderful that there's so many states in the United States right now that are recognizing it and legalizing it for recreational use too. Like, I'm not against that at all. I just think that it, you know, for me, it's medicine. And, you know, that's my fight. My fight is that it is medicine, and I think you should enjoy it too. But it's medicine, you know. And it's an effing plant.
An effing plant.
You want to hear something just random? Since I started smoking weed, I used to get like swollen tonsils, like back in the day, like all the time. Like, and since I started smoking weed, I don't get a single anything ever with the tonsils. It's like, you know, the cannabinoids or whatever passing through that area. It's like I was healed, you know? So that's why I say like this plant is going to do what it needs to do for you in ways that you can't even imagine. Mm-hmm. So that was just a random byproduct that happened, but yeah.
That's awesome.
That's just it. When you just let it do whatever it wants to do, like Kendra said, and as an antigen, it will get in there and do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I have a severe vocal cord dysfunction. I have it very well managed now, but I had to go to speech therapy for like 6 months to like relearn how to breathe and talk and like all these things with it. And sometimes you'll hear it like when I'm taking a breath, it's supposed to open up more than it does. And I never in a million years thought they'd be cool with me smoking weed. And she was like, so it's a little taboo, but it's legal here now in Colorado. Right? Would you be open to like smoking marijuana? And I was like, I smoke. And she was like, oh. And she's like, and I just remember her face and her being like, it's really actually quite amazing for like the esophageal and the bronchial tract. And like, it'll really help your respiratory and your vocal cords to relax and to open back up. And I think this would be a really good tool to help your vocal cords to heal. And I was like, don't have to tell me twice. Thank you. Thanks, angels. Never ever saw that one coming, but I will take it. Thank you.
You know something else that's kind of random. Like, you know, there's this idea that like, you know, you smoke weed, you're gonna just like, you know, like gain a lot of weight because you're eating all the time or whatever. I've like been thinner since like it's like I think it regulates kind of like just like
made me slow down.
Yeah, I mean there's something I find that like actually I'm the complete opposite. I'll go for like the longest time and not even be hungry when I smoke. But it's just funny because you know people just have these ideas, and I've just found so many just interesting ways that it's helped me where I didn't expect. You know.
There's actually a so in a strain, if there's any trace or percentage of THCV, that is an appetite suppressant. So they don't give strains like that to like cancer patients, like people who are trying to get their appetite. That's the strain you don't want. But if you're someone like me who's a type 1 diabetic who doesn't get benefit health-wise from eating a bowl of Cocoa Puffs after I have my medicine, like it's just not good for me. So I'm always trying to find THCV to suppress my appetite. And it's pretty fascinating. New Jersey does not test for that. I don't know why. I think that's ridiculous. But anyway, I know like California tests for it Colorado probably does, the more advanced states are testing for it. But I feel like, Rachel, like you, like where I just became more mindful and more like organic, where I wanted to be more healthy. I wanted to eat more plants and vegetables when I was high. I wasn't craving cheesesteaks and cheeseburgers. It was kind of like defeating the purpose because my point was to get healthy, and my point was to get off medications that were packing symptoms and pounds and depression and anxiety and whatever else they were giving me. So I think that's a lot of it too. Like we were just being more mindful of saying, well, I'm going to do better. Like I'm just going to eat better because I'm feeling better, that's kind of what happened to me too, where, everyone before I started the plant medicine was kind of warning me and discouraging me from going that route medicinally with marijuana, was because they were afraid that I was going to gain weight, and that's not good for my diabetes or my heart. And it's been the opposite. So here I am. It's a plant.
Yeah, I got a long way to go, but it's helped me so much on that journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It makes you want to be more mindful. It makes you want to put better things in your body, because you literally feel your cells resonating. You literally feel your cells being like, I want this. I want a juice. Give me a carrot. I want sweet potatoes all the time. Like, I never wanted that before I started smoking weed. I can tell you that much.
Uh-huh. I like the kind that makes you want to like exercise, like a really good sativa that will like get you motivated to like clean your house in an hour and like go for a walk. Like that's my jam. Like that's what this tired mom, 40-hour work week mom needs. Like I need help.
What's your favorite sativa, Kenj?
What's that?
What's your favorite sativa?
Well, when I was so in New Jersey, my favorite was the Prophet. I loved that strain. Ooh. Yeah, I loved it. How about yours, Rach?
Jack Hara is my it always just, and it's not even a strain with like crazy amount of THC, and it always just hit me right, and it's like the right balance of whatever like that's my motivating strain. So if I need to get something done, I need to find some Jack.
Nice. Yeah. How about you, Mandee? What's your favorite strain?
Probably like a lemon haze. I tend to really like that. There's a special one that I really like from a special friend that she created that just tastes like tangerine and pineapple in your mouth and makes me feel just like gooey and amazing.
Yeah.
Depends on my mood. A lot of times I tend to like indicas, even though like I'm really productive. Like I like to be a boss, doing it up, getting things done. And because I'm like a lot of times like I like a sativa or an indica during the day to calm me down and stuff. There was one I really was like him. I don't know.
There's a strain I know I've talked to you girls about. Oh, Mesa. Yeah.
I've had that. That was good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this out there for the viewing audience. My favorite strain is blue cheese. And I tried this strain like once ever. It was like a random eighth that I got, like this was years ago. And it put me into a place of just absolute bliss. I call it the heaven strain. And I don't know where to get it because the dispensaries don't have it around here.
Didn't the dispensary have a cheese though? Wasn't there one?
Yes, but I tried it. It's not the same thing. However they grow this blue cheese
kind.
But then amazingly, like a friend came over one time and had this, and I smoked it again, like for the first time, like after, because then you wonder if like, years remembering what it was like, but whether it would really be as good like the second time. And it was
nice.
It was just different than the way a lot of the other strains hit. And it would just, it was such a beautiful piece. It felt like heaven. And
I feel like that's how I feel about headband. Like whenever I can get my hands on headband strain, that's like my favorite. I love it. It makes me giggle. Like most of the time, like medical cannabis doesn't like, put me in that place where I was like in high school when I'd be giggling and stuff, laughing at stuff. Like that stuff makes me laugh. And I love that. I love having like those moments where you can just kind of like relax and have fun, and be totally safe and be medicated and just be a goofy person with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too often like you get into that true giggle state. Like that's kind of early on, like when you first start smoking, that everything's funny. After your body kind of adjusts to it, I think you kind of
like I miss those days.
There's nothing like
grow up and nothing's funny anymore.
Yeah.
I will say, if I do a dab every now and then, that gives me the giggles. That's more my recreational smoking for me. Whereas I have a lot of friends and clients who use dabs as medicine a lot. For me, that's more heavy recreational and smoking. Like, it gets me like high a little bit in my mind, but it's just what it does to my body and my vessel. It brings me down and activates me. So it's like a totally different experience.
Yeah, like edibles. Like edibles are like a little. You can get you can go a little too far. Sometimes that's not fun.
Edibles scare me a little bit. Just
but it's low and slow. Like it's literally like a bite at a time. A bite, wait an hour. Like if you don't do that, you're playing with something right there. Like, I don't enjoy that. I don't. But I
always feel bad for people who tried an edible and had a bad experience on it, and then just are like, I'll never touch this stuff because. The thing is, it's so tough to know how your body is going to react to it. And I had a bad experience once on an edible. Like, I mean, I went way, way too much. And you're not, it's not a pleasant experience anymore. And so, they need to be used with caution, and also make sure you have a free night because you don't know how it's going to hit. And so, but if you do have a free night, I mean, it's really a much like, it would be better to, relax on an edible and have a night rather than like, going and getting wasted at the bars and stuff. I promise, it'll be a much,
and like, I'm not buying an edible from a stranger. Like, no, like, I rather just make my own butter and know exactly where it's from and what I'm doing. I'm not like, going to be adventurous and go get an edible off somebody on the street corner. Like it's just not happening. But it could be bad, but it also could just be one of the best things to do for sleep.
Now that is the key.
Yeah. So those you definitely have to be a little careful with, but I just feel like anybody out there who's just never even thought to do it or is just suffering in some kind of way, medically or physically, emotionally, whatever it is, to smoke it is like instant relief. And just for me personally, that's what I would suggest. I would suggest that you smoke it and you take 1 or 2 hits and just wait and just let it do what it's going to do and then kind of take it from there. I was trying to remember the other day, like what happened to me the first time I smoked, and I just don't think anything happened.
Didn't get high the first like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Like I really don't remember having this like experience. Like I remember my first drink, I will never forget that because I got so sick. Like, so I'll just always remember that. But like this, it's like, no. But then I do remember my first medical purchasing experience. That was like the best. Like Rachel said, like for you to just be able to walk in somewhere, there's state police looking at you.
It looks like an Apple
and
store.
You're just allowed to just buy it. You're just like, yeah.
Even still, when I leave and it's in my bag and I'm walking in my car, I'm like, I can't believe I just walked into a store. I mean, yeah, and
pretty soon
it's so cool inside.
The drive-through, like that's crazy. Like it's coming. It's coming to New Jersey. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you can call and pre-order whatever you want.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, so good people are waking up. Waking up.
Well, thank you both so much for taking an hour of your time and your heart and your energy and sharing your medicine time and token and talking with us, Rachel. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your light with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, as a mom and as you know, and a part of a spiritual arts kind of thing, you know, there's so much taboo around here. So like around this subject. So it makes me proud to just kind of break through my own walls and apprehension about even talking about it and come on here, because I believe in this show so much. You girls are like doing such an incredible job. And yeah, Toke and A Talk, baby. Toke and A Talk.
Why not, right? We need anything to bring us together at this time after this crazy chapter. And yeah, it's a little taboo, but so many people do it. And it's such a nice thing to be able to bring us all together and relax and see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm just excited for future guests and just hearing everybody's experience with it, whether it was good, bad, or their challenges with it, or, you know, how it helps them, or how it helps their grandma, you know, or how it helps their income. Like, it's, you know, there's just so many stories, and I hope the show keeps going too. And every guest is always awesome. So Rachel, thank you. And I don't know. I just hope everybody stays well and keeps on fighting for the plant.
Keep fighting for the plant. And thank you, Kendra, for being a part of this and showing that amazing shirt off, and for both of you designing that. And like Kendra and Rachel said, check us out. Give us a like. Give us a follow. We are SeaGoddessHealingArts.com. You will find all of Rachel's designs there. You will find my intuitive services, and you will find all of Kendra's healing services and merch under Higher Self Healing. Give us a like, a share, a follow. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. As always, thank you so much to all of you for tuning in, to Kendra, to Rachel, and to Mama Cannabis for being here with us. Take care.
Thanks, Mandee. Bye, Rachel.